We are human beings with hope who want to live in peace. And after witnessing the structural violence that has been featuring the host of refugees over the past 2 years, we were expecting that the institutions actually took action. We were expecting that the institutions, as long as the financial resources and the human resources were ready to be deployed, took care of the situation. Well, after 2 years waiting, we cannot blind see anymore that enforceable guidelines that are given by the establishment, for the establishment, to rule over the host of refugees, of people who are fleeing from conflict zones, are theoretically active, but practically clearly insufficient and very, very, very poorly applied. It unfortunately looks like out of the public sphere in the European Union, there is an absolute lack of willingness to embrace humanity. And then is when SickOfWaiting comes in the scene. SickOfWaiting is the organic reaction of the global civil society that is sick of waiting for the institutional powers to fulfill their commitments. It's the voice of the peoples of the world gathered together, claiming for the European governments to assume with responsibility their genuine function, which is to rule over the individuals to provide with a peaceful coexistence. We have realized that there is a huge gap between the international and European legal framework and the management of the individual cases that actually fit within this legal scheme. And we keep on waiting for the institutions to fill in this gap, to take an immediate action to fill in this gap. And we state, as the people, as the human beings that we are sick of waiting, because we have been waiting for so long that we have become very sick of waiting.
Okay. SickOfWaiting is a social global movement that only in 2 months, because we started at the end of April until today, we have managed to gather almost 20,000 people from 130 different countries to stand with refugees, with migrants, and with all these people that, because of the structural violence, are pushed out of their countries and they run away looking for a safe life. 130 different countries, because in this world that we are living now, our connections have reached much farther than our family, our village, or our country, because we are in daily connection with people from other continents, because the space now more than ever feels relative, because we are part of a worldwide community that is pushed or affected by the facts that are happening all around the globe, and therefore our responsibility as a society has become global as well. And that is something very important for the European Parliament to start focusing on, like that we are global and we cannot think even in Europe. We have to open our eyes to think in the world. So to share this common approach, we count on this digital platform. If you become a member of SickOfWaiting, you appear in the map as a man sitting, if you're a refugee, or as a welcoming heart. We give the opportunity to everybody to state why you are sick of waiting, or why you, and you can send a message to the world. For example, like Rachel from UK, who has been working with refugees who have so much to offer to help and to enrich our society, and who wants to be on the right side of history. Or Usman from Pakistan, who has been waiting for 5 years to get any documents and still has no identity.
We also enhance the freedom of speech in an area to express yourself, where we have already received several posts stating how people are feeling, telling what they know, and broadcasting what they see. And so they do. The people have been quite active regarding this. Some people talk about their feelings, like this guy in Sierra Leone who is sick of trusting the politicians while people keep on suffering. Or this other person who talks about his situation, explaining how they ran away from a physical war in Syria and now they are suffering from a psychological one here. Or this volunteer who is stating what he could witness in a refugee detention in an illegal facility where the police in Greece put some people for almost a month. And then some people, they talk about their own story, like this 22-year-old Syrian man who was in prison for 10 months without any legal assistance in the island of Chios.
We also offer information about the different host programs and their current status and about our plan to engage everybody who is sick of waiting in the movement with 2 milestones. One is coming here today to share this initiative with you and to state our demands. And the other one is to organize an event without equals in Athens in September 30, after the relocation program deadline is over, to claim for the rights of refugees. And as a movement that reflects society, Sick of Waiting is not only made up by individuals, but also by a group of people supporting it, like all these organizations, associations, and so on. As a social movement, we are active in the social media sphere, where beside giving impulse to the movement by pure interaction and updating information on the refugee scope, we have given visibility to the people who are sick of waiting through the Waiting Challenge, and to the movement itself through the collective creation of artwork, painting the waiting.
Well, in such a space, you can really feel the richness of diversity. There are many feelings, there are many expressions, there are many people. Because, surprise, people are not just workers, because society is not only a market. Because also the European Union is not an economic union anymore as it used to be. Happily for all of us, it has evolved. And the real crisis that we are facing right now is not financial or migratory. The real crisis that we are facing is a crisis of values. All the people here, we are working hard to build a Europe that we can rely on. A place in the world where human rights and freedom are really protected through the rule of law in an effective and in an efficient way. A place in the world where those who don't respect the lives, the health, and the dignity of the people are accountable for it. And therefore, when the global civil society realizes that the institutions are failing in this very basic mandate, which is standing with humanity, it is not only our right, but our duty to take action.
Because we are sick of waiting. And what we demand the full compliance on time of the relocation and resettlement commitments assumed by the European Council in 2015. We demand that the full refugee status and the permanent residency permits is extended to the relocated and resettled refugees in all EU countries. We also demand to enlarge the number of people who can benefit from resettlement scheme in Europe, as it is currently the only legal path for those who cannot apply for family reunification to arrive in Europe from anywhere in the planet without risking their lives in any way. We demand to speed up the management of family reunification processes up to a maximum of 3 months since the first application, and the extension of the family unit concept to first-degree ascendant indirect line, like father and mother of the national foreigner, unmarried children above the age of majority, and unmarried partners.
And we demand that together with the host and the social integration policies, other policies aiming to solve the causes of the conflicts are also developed and enforced, as well as the fulfillment of the official aid for development commitments, the reduction of the military expenses, and the setup of actions to ensure peace. Come on, let's change this challenge into an opportunity. Let's activate policies that actually fight the xenophobic speech that we have around and that support the creation of a culture of solidarity and of fellowship among the peoples on earth,